I'm going to be going around the Highmeadow Trail today. Called so because a lot of it is in Highmeadow Woods. Surprise, surprise. It's a circular route, so I'll end up back where I started. If you do come to do the trail, most leaflets will tell you to park at Symonds Yat Rock, where there is a Forestry England car park, which costs money. But of course, being a local, I got better ideas than that. And I've actually parked for free near the Christchurch campsites. First place we're going to get to will be the Staunton Longstone after about half an hour through the woods. So I'll bring you back then. Okay, we're just coming up to the Staunton Longstone, which unfortunately is right on the side of a main A road. And there she is, the Staunton Longstone. Don't know much about it, why it's here, what it's doing, but what I do know is that myth says, hang on, we just wait for these cars to go by. If you prick the stone at midnight on a certain night of the year, it bleeds. So there we go. Now at the Staunton Longstone, you've got to cross that busy road. The thing to do is to walk up the same side of the road for about 20 yards and you'll see a post on the other side. You cross over there and you come into this woodland. And now, as you can see, it's not really a track here at all. But basically, if you sort of parallel the road, after a while, a track will become evident. There's a couple of stones up at Staunton itself. There's one called the Buckstone, which is quite interesting. There's also, I think it's called the Toad's Mouth Stone. We'll be going by both of those. But there are a load of other, like prehistoric stones in one of the farmers' fields that we're not going to visit today, and I think you probably need to get permission to go and see. I don't know. When we get to Staunton, there's something there I can show you. Oh, a lovely day. What a beautiful, beautiful day. Getting away from the road a bit. Now that is the only busy road that we're going to go anywhere near today. So, we've come up this track behind me now, and we need to almost double back on ourselves. We go back down there, head into the village of Staunton. So I'll catch you up when I get down there. Right, there's the church here, and in front of it you can see the old preaching cross. Several of these in the forest. This is probably the smallest. But, we're going to go down now through the village and have a look at the pound. And then after that, I'm going to go up this hill in front of us and have a look at the Buckstone. I'll tell you about that when we get there. Okay, this is the village pound, and this is where stray sheep mostly were impounded and where you had to pay a fee to get them out. Gate's gone obviously. And these days it's turned into, it's like the, I don't know, picnic site come event place in the middle of the village here. It's really lovely. So, the village pound. I'll just come up out to the village a bit and look at the view. It's not bad, is it? Pretty good. There's a house just over there called Forest View. You can see why, can't you? Pretty special. So I'm just coming up to, I hope anyway, the Buckstone, up this lane. It's a bit of a fiddle through the lanes of the village, but you know, it's all properly marked, so no great deal. Sorry, I'm squinting because I'm walking into the sun. Too proud to get the shades on, that's the problem. Okay, let me just show you where we are. We've come up through the forest and then up above Staunton, and you can just see that's where we come from. And we're at the top of this hill, and there's a trig point there. I better go and tap that, I suppose. Had I not, best tap the trig point. So if you're trying to get here, that's the thing to look for, trig point. And over here we have the Buckstone. Now this stone used to rock, hence the name bucked. But in 1855, some revellers and a landlord from a pub down in Monmouth shoved it down the hill, managed to push it over. People have been trying it for years, but they managed it, and it went down and split into 5 pieces. So if you look very carefully, you can probably see there's some cement in there where they've stuck it back together and brought it back up the hill, and that was paid for by the Crown. Now today, with the view, look at this view. So you've got the Black Mountains right at the back there. You can see all those, and then that's Wales we're looking at over there. Beautiful. Now down in the bottom here, this is the road that goes down to Monmouth, and that's the outskirts of Monmouth you can see down there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk back along down to Staunton, cross the road, that busy road, and we'll get it back into the forest proper. Anyway, the Buckstone, don't try and rock it, it's cemented in place now, so I don't expect the Queen would pay for it to be brought back up the hill a second time. You've still got frost on the ground here. It's almost 12 o'clock. This rock here, it's apparently called the Toadstone because they say it looks like a toad with its mouth open. I'm personally not really convinced. As you can hear, we're back by the road again, and coming back down into the village. This is the last time we'll see a paved road for most of the rest of the walk, and the reason I'm showing you this is because of where the path goes. If you look on the other side of the road, you can see that white house there, and there's a little gap just this side of that house, and we're going through that gap and down into the forest proper, and then some more stones. Forest is full of stones. And just behind the houses here is the St. John the Baptist well. And it was, as it says, the main water source for the village until a main standpipe was put in 1931. Having a look at it, not sure I'd fill my water bottle from it, but there you go. Right, so we're off down into the woods now, and see what we can see. Just after the John the Baptist well, the path splits, and the public footpath goes right, but you want to go left. It's quite steep. Doesn't look like there's a path of bits of it, but just trust me on this, there is. And you come down onto this road, and then you bear right on the road, and you walk, it's a fair distance along this forest access track it is, until you get to the Suckstone, which I'm coming up to very soon now. The lovely day, I finally seen another person in the woods. A lady out running with her dog. One of the, I don't know whether it's a greyhound or a whippet or something like that. And she looked at me, so I waved, said hello, from a distance of, I don't know, 20 yards or so. Unfortunately, her dog decided it wanted to play with me instead of her for a while. So I interrupted her run. She's not very happy with. Well, you know, control your dog better, I guess. But if you are watching this, I'm very sorry. Now this is the reason why I asked you to go left after the well instead of right, because if you've gone right, it goes to the same place eventually, but you don't get to see this. How about this? So that's the Wye Valley down there, outskirts of Monmouth over the top, and then in the background you can see, well, reading say left to right, there's Blorenge, and then underneath there Abergavenny, You see the pointy one? That's the Skirrid in front of it, and the Sugarloaf poking out behind. And then the rest of the Black Mountains. Absolutely beautiful. It's coming up to the Suckstone now. Now, what do I need to tell you about this when we get there? Can you see it coming around the corner, just behind the trees? I'm going to show you the approach mainly because it's quite impressive. And here we go. This is the Suckstone. It's thought to be the biggest piece of fallen rock in the country and weighs something like 14,000 tons. And we're going to walk up to it and have a closer look. Okay, so as you can see, it's not a trivial piece of stone. It's fallen off the cliff which is above us. It's pretty big. I'll walk around it. Pretty impressive, isn't it? The rock climbers amongst you will no doubt be looking for a way up, but not me, not today. I have been up it, but some time ago, when I was young and stupid. Now, should you want to get up it, this is the way, as you can see. This bottom corner is the way up, but not for me, not today. You see, it's pretty moss covered. The Suckstone, 14,000 tons of fallen rock, all in one piece. Good, isn't it? And that up there is where that rock came from, and that is near Harkening Rock. And there she is in all her glory. Huge piece of rock. So, this is near Harkening Rock. And it's said that back in the days when the Crown had gamekeepers here, to keep the hoi polloi from killing the deer, they would sit in this concave rock and listen for the poachers, because you can hear for miles, they say. Personally don't believe it, and there you go. But if the rock was going to reflect, I guess it would be this one, wouldn't it? Near Harkening Rock. Still a popular haunt for the firelighters, as you can see. Right, so we follow the path round onto the top of the rock, and then I'm going to have a break, eat some of my chocolate, and I'll sit down for 5 minutes after that enormous stress of coming up this, oh, blimey, this very steep piece. So I'm just coming up to the top of near Harkening Rock now, having walked around. It's a great place for a break. Great views out through the trees, as you can see, especially this time of year when there's no real leaves on them. And yeah. So this is top of the rock, and down there you can see the one that fell off, Suckstone. So I've left near Harkening Rock now. I'm walking down through Lady Park Wood around the edge of the nature reserve here. And I just noticed that there's a bit of a diversion on the Highmeadow Trail now for you to follow the roads round, the forestry tracks, instead of the actual Wyses Way, which I ignored obviously. So I'm now walking along the Wyses Way, and I can see why they diverted it, because it's horrible and muddy and yuck, but not to worry. I'm on my way down into the White Valley now. You can see I'm going downhill at last and heading towards the Biblins Adventure Centre. So I'm coming down to the river, and we've got a nice bridge to go and see. And here she is, there's the ramp. As you can see, there's the swing bridge. Swing bridge, I keep calling it swing bridge. That's because we used to try and swing it. It's a suspension bridge. You can see people coming across quite gingerly. And then on the other side of the river there's this campsite that goes all the way up pretty much to Symonds Yat. I did a lot of camping there as a lad. And there's a couple of caves, waterfalls and things in the cliffs behind. So I'm just waiting for someone else to film themselves walk over the bridge, and then we're going to have a look. One thing I did just notice is this nice new fence here and a sign that says keep clear of the landslide, so that's new. So that was Biblins Bridge. So now I'm off on a bit of out and back. I'll have to go back over the bridge later on, because the Highmeadow Trail actually goes along downstream for a bit and then up onto the top of the cliffs, which I'll show you in a moment, to King Arthur's Cave. Then it goes up over the Doward and down into Symonds Yat East, where there sometimes, or like in the summer and especially weekends, is a ferry. It's one of these sort of big punt things that a guy pulls backwards and forwards across on a rope, but it's not running today, so I can't get back across the river other than either this bridge or miles and miles and miles of walking upstream. Okay, so we're off down the White Valley for a bit, heading towards the Seven Sisters Rocks, which are big pillars of white rock hanging above the valley, and then King Arthur's Cave behind there. So I finally got to the top. Full disclosure, I got lost somewhere, ended up scrabbling up a very, very steep bank, and then I met a very kind lady who put me back on the path. Bit shameful really, considering I only live about 10 miles away, but there you go. Now I'm just coming out onto one of the Seven Sisters Rocks and show you the view. So there is the Y, heading down to Monmouth and then on to join the River Severn at Chipstow. And this way, or be careful a bit here, There is the Wye Valley and the campsite that I came from. And the woods up here are where I was walking earlier on. And as you can see, it's quite a way down. So I'm not going to go any closer to the edge. So these are the Seven Sisters. This is the one with the best view. You just see another one through the trees over there. I actually came up the side of that one a while ago. And there's a couple more in, but they're all in the trees, so you can't really see them. This is the prime spot. Okay, time to find King Arthur's cave. So finally, I found it. King Arthur's cave, and there she is. Now, lots of prehistoric stuff found in this cave, bones and teeth, some tools, etc, etc. All gone now, obviously. I'll take you in a little bit. I don't know how much you'll be able to see. It goes in there. I don't know why it's called King Arthur's Cave. Probably the same reason that lots of other things are called King Arthur's something or other. But there we go. Well, King Arthur's Cave turned out to be a bit of an epic. I couldn't find the path from the valley up onto the tops. So eventually I just decided I'd just scramble up the side, and that's hard. So anyway, I eventually found a nice young lady who told me where the path was. It's embarrassing. And then I took a shortcut to King Arthur's Cave that turned out to be not a shortcut. So I'm taking the easy way back. So basically I followed the Highmeadow Trail across the top. And now I'm on the road that goes back down to the Biblins campsite. And when I get there, I just snip over the bridge, follow the railway up towards Symonds Yat. Right, so I come back down to the campsite, like I said, back over the bridge. Now I'm walking up the Wye Valley on the track bed of the old Wye Valley Railway, which is of course no more. I'm heading towards Symonds Yat, but just before I get there I'm going to take a track off to the right and cut the corner on the route up to the top of Symonds Yat Rock, because I want to get there while the sun's still shining, and I'm running out of daylight here, so I'm not too bothered about getting to the car after it's dark, because that's easy enough. But it'd be a shame to do all this and then not show you the view from Symonds Yat Rock, don't you think? Yeah, so do I. The slopey path does go on for a while, and I know it really well, and have a sort of love-hate relationship with it, really. Back in 2013, the wife and I had booked ourselves on a trip to the Grand Canyon, and we were going to walk from the north rim down into the bottom and then back out on the south rim. Got all this advice about how hard it is. Now you got to train. So we worked out the route from here. It's actually from where I started the walk at Christchurch. We're going straight from there down to the river and then along this up here and then back to the car along the top, the route that I'll be taking from now on. So we did it rather a lot, and the last few times we were carrying 30 odd pounds in our bags, because that's what they told us we needed to do. So a rucksack full of bags of flour and bits of stone. But we were pretty fit, and actually it worked, because we didn't find the Grand Canyon trip that hard at all. Right, let's get up this hill. Right, it's the last few steps to the top of the rock and the fabulous views we're going to get. Hopefully not too many people around. It's quite late on a December Thursday afternoon. Oh, here we go. Nearly there. We're coming out here to the Symonds Yat picnic spot. And look at that. There's nobody here. To get to the rock, you go over this little bridge and just follow the walkway. So what you can see, this is the River Wye coming down from Ross. It comes down behind that hill, does a 180, goes back up that way, and then it goes all the way around this hill, and it comes back down there where you can see those houses. That's Symonds Yat East, and that's where the ferry is to get across to this side when it's running. Fabulous view, absolutely fabulous view. So I'm just leaving the picnic area and the cafe behind. That is the last feature of interest, I guess. So hope you've enjoyed a walk through the Forest of Dean and a look at some of the stuff we've got going on here. I've had a great time on the walk, although I'm not overly proud of the way I managed to get to King Arthur's Cave, but I did. If you've enjoyed it, please like. If you'd like to see more, subscribe, comment down below. I'm very new to this, but if you think I'm worth watching, I'd be glad to know that. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next time.